Hi, welcome for our next installment of the Ash Wells Show. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to get started and dive in right now. We've got a few people that are going to be joining us here live in a few minutes, so I'll continue to pause and let people in, but let's get started. So I do this series on a weekly basis for those of you who have never purchased real estate before, or maybe you have several rentals under your belt already. If this is applied to you, or maybe you've been through one of these situations, you're in the right place, because maybe you've tried to buy rental real estate before and just got stuck in analysis paralysis, lost your confidence, or maybe you've hit a ceiling of growth in your portfolio. You don't know where to go next or how to jump to that next level. Or maybe you're just overwhelmed by all the information out there and you just can't make a move. If any of this applies to you, you're in the right space. You see, this is me and my crazy family. I can't believe it's been a year since we've been out of the country, but this is the whole reason why I invest in rental real estate, is to spend time with my family, doing the things we love, traveling, and spending time with other family members. Life's just too precious and too short not to do this. But it wasn't always like this. I started off investing in 2002, living, flipping, and house hacking. And it wasn't a smooth ride. It wasn't a smooth process. Here I was, like, very excited about rental real estate, or actually real estate in general, but I didn't know how to leverage it and make it, a path for me to get to financial independence and financial freedom. And we struggled at this for a few years. And then finally, when my husband joined me, and we were able to put that finger on it that we needed cash flow, that's when our world changed. And I'm going to share with you some key things that we did to transform our portfolio here in a minute that anybody can do, and what we teach you how to do here at Ash Wealth. But once we made these key transitions, we just blew the doors off our investing career. But really, none of this success was possible until we learned how to get those first 30 rentals under our belt. And better yet, leverage other people's money, bank money, private money, and stuff like that, other investors' money, in order to scale. Okay. And you know what? We did all of this while working, while being, married, having, a family, and taking care of other family members. So, I mean, that's one of the largest obstacles I run into. People, when I talk to other investors, they say they don't have the time to do all this. And you know what? You do. It just isn't a priority or that painful for you yet. So anyways, I'm here to kind of like demystify part of this process, help you kind of set down that right path, and of course, answer a few questions here as well. But what makes what I'm going to share today so different? I mean, you could be spending your time here with anybody, but why here? What makes what I share so different? Over the 18 plus years that I've been investing in real estate, I've discovered three fundamental truths that you have to have in place in order to get started. One, you have to have an investing roadmap. That investing roadmap will save you so much time and, honestly, money. Okay. And I have created a roadmap that I teach all of my clients to get them to financial independence in a fraction of the time that if they tried to wander around, put all the puzzle pieces themselves. Okay. Two, you have to have simple, repeatable systems that other people can execute, right? I don't know about you, but I didn't start getting into rental real estate to have another job. I got into it to have a leveraged life, to have time and financial freedom. Okay, so that is very fundamental as well. And then you have to figure out how to scale. All right. And, for some people, scaling is going to look like adding thousands of units to their portfolio. For other people, it might just be simply getting to 20 or 30 units and they're done. Okay. Scaling is going to look different for everybody, but you have to figure out how to scale and utilize other people's money in order to get that done. All right. So these are the three main puzzle pieces. We talk about one of these puzzle pieces, here on the Ash Wealth Show once a week. So stay tuned. But when you put all these puzzle pieces together, the result, at least for me, and I have been able to replicate it multiple people over within my client base, is that you have 100% choice of your time. And that's what excites me, right? Like, the financial independence is amazing, financial freedom, we all want it. But getting your time back. Time is your most precious, non-renewable resource. Once you spend it, it's gone. All right. So let's dive into today's secret. So today's secret we're going to cover is 13 ways to save for a down payment. And you can even do this while quarantined. Now, I know the world is starting to open up. Right now, fingers crossed we stay open. That's amazing. But you can do these things in any sort of environment. Okay. And these are just kind of fundamental. Even if you're not saving for a down payment, these are just fundamental things that I really encourage all investors to do within their financial goals. So why? Why do we want to do this? Okay. I know for me, when I first tried to figure out how to start saving for down payments, everything that I was looking for out there, all that information was, all about how can you create a budget? How can you cut your expenses? Grocery, housing, gas, extra spending. And that's great, but that's only part of the puzzle. Okay. Would you be surprised to learn that these are actually not the areas that are going to move the needle the furthest for you? But it's what everybody talks about. All right. So that to me was hugely surprising when I actually learned that those are not the 4 things that I should really be focused on. They're great. That's not what's going to get me to wealth. Okay. And if you do what I suggest here today, I promise you, and you guys know I don't say promise a whole lot. I promise you, you will put yourself in a position for developing amazing habits and put yourself down the path for wealth. Okay. So let's go over the 13 tips. Okay. First part, I want you to reallocate parts of your budget. Okay. Now you just said, whoa, Whitney, you said that these, gas, grocery, dining, stuff like that isn't going to move the needle. You're right, but this is one of 13. Okay. So, if you're not traveling a whole lot right now, or maybe if you're laid off, heaven forbid you got laid off, learn to reallocate parts of your budget away from travel, gas, dining, and entertainment. Okay. And I'm going to touch on where you should put this here in a second. Okay. But let's move on to tip number 2. Cut your destructive spending immediately. Get these off your plate. Drugs, if you're doing drugs, if you're gambling, any sort of addictive habit that you have, alcohol, drugs, gambling, retail therapy, get those things, cut those, get help, cut those out of your life. Okay, they will continue to destroy the life. Even paying fees on penalties for not paying bills on time. Okay. Now, there might be many reasons why you're not paying your bills on time if this actually applies to you, but getting rid of those fees can turn your life around. Okay. Those fees and penalties. Okay. So tips number 1 and number 2, cut your destructive spending immediately. Start reallocating parts of your budget. Number 3, sorry, can't count, guys. Create a values-based spending plan. Okay. Now, this, I really dive deep with my clients on this, but this is where the rubber starts kind of meeting the road. Okay. I can give you a list of all the things that you need to do, but you need to know what is important to you. This is your why. Okay. What experiences do you want to have in your life? What kind of growth do you want to have in your life? How do you want to contribute to the world? This value-based spending plan, and I'm going to back it up here just to one slide, is going to help you figure out what part of your budget you need to allocate into where. Okay. If your experience is to have 5-star dining, great. That is fine. If that is part of the values that you have in your life, get rid of all the smaller dining, choices that you make. Maybe grabbing take and bake pizza or smash burger or something like that. Really focus on your values. Okay. Maybe you want to travel. For us, we want to travel, but we don't eat out. Okay. Learn to shift those parts of your budget around. But again, it comes back to your values. What do you want to experience in your life? How do you want to grow? Okay. A friend of mine calls this growth bucket your R&D bucket, your research and development bucket. Okay. Do you want to learn a new hobby? Do you want to pick up a new a sport that you want to get into? Is there, for me, my daughter and I, we're spending money on ukulele lessons. Okay. How do you want to grow? Okay. And continue learning. And then how do you want to contribute? And contribution back to the world can be in the form of time, money, and yourself and your knowledge. Okay. So you don't actually have to spend money to contribute. Okay. It can be time, money, or yourself, what knowledge you have. Okay. Number 4, tip number 4, eliminate subscriptions. Okay. Subscription model is software as a service. Subscription models are the rage. They're the thing. Why? Because it helps businesses understand their monthly cash flow. Okay. So while it's great for businesses, it's not necessarily great for your pocketbook. Okay. So get really good at analyzing, paying for subscriptions versus one-off things. So some descriptions that I've worked with on my clients to eliminate, getting rid of like really expensive gym subscriptions. Maybe it's better to buy some home equipment right now and exercise at home, or can we actually like eliminate equipment in general and utilize the great outdoors? Meal subscriptions. Blue Apron, there's a few other like, meal subscriptions that you can get, food delivered at home. That's fine and dandy, but what is it about that meal subscription that is you actually like? Is it the fact they give you a recipe? Well, fantastic. There are other apps out there like Mealime that will help you put together recipes, a meal plan for the week, and your grocery list. And you can do a one click and have your groceries delivered. And then now you got the recipe and you got all your groceries from the grocery store. So there's alternatives like that out there. Magazine subscriptions. One of my favorite hacks is actually going to your local library. And most local libraries actually right now have online services. And one of those online services, they will have subscription magazines. I actually don't read magazines anymore. I've cut that out of my life entirely. But, I made a transition at one point in time. RB Digital was a great service for me to ditch those expensive magazine subscriptions. Clubs, wine clubs, beer clubs, alcohol clubs, razor clubs. Okay, get those off the plate too. Okay, clothes clubs. I know there's like, ThredUp, one of my favorite websites, has a clothes club now. Poshmark has a clothes club. Those, those are probably not helping your bottom line in your pocketbook. TV, okay? Now, this is a stickler in my household. My husband loves television. I hated paying the high cable bill. So we compromised. We figured out how to cut the cord and get rid of that subscription service. Okay, so I was, I couldn't bear spending like $120 or more a month for television that I never watched. Okay, and it didn't really make sense for him financially. So we figured out how to cut the cord and get rid of our television subscription. All right, tips 5 and 6. Renegotiate your household bills. Okay, you can do this. I would suggest you sit down and set aside an afternoon one time a year, go through all your bills and renegotiate them. Another way to do that is renegotiate one bill a month, and then just put that on your calendar and constantly come back to revisit it. Maybe it's your cell phone bill. We were able to save, I think it was like almost $90 a month between the two cell phones in our household by switching away. No, actually it was over 100 between getting from Sprint to US Mobile, and same service, exact same service, but we saved $100 a month. Cable internet, renegotiate those. If you can, get rid of the cable, but also, stay on top of those internet services. I know for us, our service here locally, they love jacking up the rates like every year. If you're not paying attention, always call and renegotiate. The trick here is if you don't like the internet or cable bill that you have and you call in and they won't do anything for you, ask to speak to the loyalty department. That loyalty department 9 times out of 10 are going to take care of you and put you in a reduced plan. All right. Any outstanding bills that you have for your household bills, okay, get those paid off. All right. Figure out a way to, get those eliminated, because that monthly bill to you is just going to, continue to erode your ability to save. Also, fees on past due bills. Again, get rid of those as well. We already talked about those and kind of the destructive spending. But just imagine if you're paying like $40, $60, $70 a month in credit card fees or interest, and if you had it all paid off, that's just that much more money you can save. All right. Utilize free services. Free services, music, books. Amazon, can have like some great free and reduced services. The library, Hoopla is another great one. Gonna look it up on my phone real fast. Overdrive, that's another great service that you can get free books on. All right, exercise. If you're not the type that wants to, get an app for a program or something like that, you can go online on YouTube and find great exercise routines. Orange Theory, I'm not promoting them, but they have free online workouts right now. That's amazing. The YMCA has free online workouts right now. That's amazing. So you can take advantage of that. There's also online concerts being held right now. You can tap into that. Nugs TV is a great one that we love, like watching online concerts on. And then also there's online, if you need to build skills to get it like a side job or a side hustle like that, there are like online services like through schools as well. Khan Academy, LinkedIn Learning. Some of these are actually free through the library as well. Okay, so take advantage of those services. The reason why I love really kind of pushing the free services is that technology is so disrupting right now and deflationary, and we're only going to see more of that. All right, tips number 7 and 8. Learn a new skill. We just touched on this. LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, Udemy, master classes. These are all sites that you can tap into free or low cost skill building that can help you build a skill that maybe you can do on the side as a side hustle or a job promotion, so you can earn more money to save. If you like Salesforce skills, Salesforce has its own academy and they'll certify you. And I mean, I've seen people jump into $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 jobs just by getting a Salesforce certificate. Here's kind of a low-hanging fruit. Sell your household items. Go through the closets. You can put clothes, nice clothes on consignment, your coats, your gears, shoes that you've barely worn. You can put those on consignment and earn money. You can go on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and sell some household items if they're in good condition. So you can pad the bank account that way as well. And reduces clutter in your house. When you reduce clutter, there's research out there that it actually helps you think better and perform better. All right, now those are the low-hanging fruit. Okay, you've probably read about most of that in some form or fashion, but remember, those are not the things that are going to move the needle for you. Okay, they're great. Keep an eye on them. We want to keep our lifestyle creep very low, but those are not the things that are going to move the needle for you. Let's talk about the big 4. All right. Number 9, credit card hacking. Okay, now most people don't think about this, but when you're spending, a lot of, or I know for us, we spend a lot on credit cards and pay it off every month. You can build up quite a point space to get either money, cash back, or travel hack. For us, remember I said one of our values was to travel. We found credit cards for the airlines that we loved to travel on, and we build up points. This is not money that we have to spend. Not only that, we found an airline to where our daughter can fly free. So we eliminated ticket. All right, so now we are aligned with our value-based spending plan, and we're using our everyday spending to earn us points to travel. All right, I have not bought a plane ticket for 5 years. Okay, and that is within everybody's wheelhouse, the ability to do but don't engage in a credit card hacking plan if you have credit problems or you can't control credit spending. Very clear. Do not do this if you have credit problems or cannot control your credit spending. But if you can be disciplined, this can be amazing. You can look at earning extra points, cash back. The Points Guy is a great site to go on to learn how to do credit card hacking. And I just dumped in there my favorite credit card to use to get started is the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. There's just so many benefits for travel with that card. All right, number 10, renegotiate your insurance. And do this annually. Put it on a calendar. Always do it annually. I don't think people realize they can actually, you can switch insurance companies whenever you want. Okay. Is it a pain in the butt, especially if you have like your home insurance escrowed with your house payment? Yeah, it can be a pain in the butt to do, but you can save considerable amount of money. So my favorite auto carrier right now is Geico Home Insurance. I actually got a great policy through Costco. That policy alone, joining Costco alone has, just for that, saved us, I think the first year over $800 on our home insurance policy. Exact same policy as we were paying through our other primary carrier. Okay. Rental insurance. Okay. If you have rentals, okay, also look at negotiating your rental insurance, on an annual basis. Disability insurance. Okay. Now this cuts both ways. I want you to negotiate it and get a great policy, but if you don't already have disability insurance to protect your paycheck, get it. Okay. That is, especially if you're still in your working years and you don't have assets built up and set aside, disability insurance will guard against you becoming disabled and no longer being able to work, and it'll help replace your paycheck. Okay. That can, provide you and your family some great breathing room to figure things out should you ever become disabled. All right. Then I put in here, ditch any specialized insurances that you won't use. When I've worked with people on their financial plans, I have actually seen a 30-year-old have cancer insurance policy. And, I'm not an insurance agent, I'm not an advisor or anything like that, but, we definitely had to go back and question why they were sold that policy when there's no history of cancer for them or in their family, right? They had a insurance agent that decided that they wanted to sell them a cancer policy. All right, so there's tons of like little specialized insurances that you may or may not need, and so definitely question everything because those insurances can get really expensive. Okay, we need it to outsource our liabilities, but we don't need to overpay. Nobody says we have to overpay for these things. All right, tip number 11, renegotiate your interest terms, okay? Checking and savings, okay? It's kind of rough right now, post-COVID, but you look for checking and savings accounts that are gonna give you a higher rate of return. I personally like Ally because, even though it's like 0.4 to 0.8% interest that I'm earning right now on my accounts, the alternative is 0.01. Okay, I'm still making more money than I would if I had it like over like a major bank. All right. Renegotiate your interest terms on your credit cards. Ideally, you're paying your credit cards off every single month. Okay, you're controlling your spending. Okay, you're able to leverage the points in order to build up your points bucket so you can travel or do whatever. But if you do carry a balance on that credit card, you want to make sure that you've negotiated the lowest interest rate possible, okay? So you're not, again, overpaying on interest and fees, all right? Loans, okay? Now interest rates are really low. This might be the great time to refinance your house and take advantage of low interest rates, maybe even tap into some equity. You can switch loans on your car. You can get a new car loan and get a lower interest rate. Okay, that's this frees up cash so you can spend and you're not paying it in interest to another entity. Also, refinancing your investment properties. That can be another great way to, again, free up cash flow so you can actually save more to the bottom line. All right. All right. And this last big one may not put cash in your pocket today, but over the course of your lifetime, this tip number 12 could mean a million or more dollars, depending on how much you have in your retirement account. Okay. So look at your retirement accounts. Look to lower your investment fees on your retirement accounts. What is being charged? There's three things to look at on your stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. What's the expense ratio? Okay, that's the actual underlying cost of the stock or bond or mutual fund. What is, if you're like investing through Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab or something like that, what is the actual fee that they are charging you, okay, in marketing fees and the platform fees? You want to make sure all of that is as low as possible. Now, IRAs and 401ks, you don't have that much control over the fee for a 401k because that's your plan administrator, but you want to have great visibility on this to understand, and they have to file, your plan administrator has to file the actual plan administration fees. It's called a 5,500 on an annual basis to disclose to the IRS what fees are being charged. Now, here's the trick. It's usually very small writing to the employee, okay? Understand what those fees are, okay? I think you'll be shocked. Most plan administrators are somewhere between 1% to 3%, and that's a fee that's getting charged whether you make money or not, okay? So there are some alternatives to rearrange some finances here potentially and get these into a lower fee environment. Just reducing your fees amortized out over 30 years, again, can save you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into retirement and really help you extend your retirement. If you have money outside of your 401ks into self-directed IRAs and stuff like that, again, you want to look at the same thing. You want to look for a great provider that has great service but low fees as well. All right. Now, tip number 13, get a tax plan. Okay. You may not think that you have much to, planning to do right now, but get a tax plan, right? If you're here, you're probably interested in rental real estate. Okay. As you start acquiring property, we want to be able to take advantage of the tax code. And we can even do this now before you actually acquire a property. There are several things that you can do personally, whether you have a property or not. One, are you contributing to a health savings account? Do you know what that is? Okay. How much money can you defer there? Your flex spending account, okay? If you have medical expenses that you pay on an annual basis, can you take advantage of what we call a flex spending account? Again, reducing your tax burden now, but these are dollars you're gonna eventually use over time, okay? Now, HSA, the difference between an HSA and FSA is use it or lose it on an annual basis. HSA rolls over year to year, okay? So FSA, we want to make sure that you are calculating exactly what you need for that year to use and you're spending it. FSA, dependent care contributions. If you have a child and you can qualify for an FSA spending account, dependent care account, and they are going into daycare or childcare of some sort, you can actually set aside $5,000 a year right now to help pay for the dependent care. And it doesn't have to be a child. It can actually be like a dependent as well. Like if, a spouse or something like that, if they're disabled, if you have a dependent or if your parents are a dependent, that can count as well. But now you might be like, well, I still have to pay the $5,000 to get $5,000 back. Yes. And you don't pay the taxes on that $5,000. So it's like getting a 33% increase on your money. Home office deductions. Okay, do you have a business? Do you have a rental business? These are things that you can incorporate into your tax plan. And then just maybe there's other credits available to you. Last week they just passed the latest CARES Act or COVID spending bill. I think it was called the American Recovery Act. And there's some cool things that came out in that bill as well. But call your CPA and put together a plan and a strategy. Okay, I'm not talking about you overpaying for accounting services, but put together a strategy and review that strategy on an annual basis as your needs change. All right. Now, of course, I always like leaving you with a challenge. All right. This is great information, but how are you going to put it into place? Okay. 1, review everything here that you just learned and create a list. All right. And then pick the 3 items that you can tackle this week to do now. Okay. Just 3. All right. Maybe they're low hanging fruit. Maybe they just take you 20 minutes to do. None of these should take you that long to do if you take each one individually. And then put it on your schedule. Okay. I want you to actually schedule what you're going to tackle. Put it on your calendar. Make a date with yourself and keep it sacred. And then keep repeating this pattern, picking 3 items over the course of a week and scheduling it on your calendar until you knock them out and get them done. Okay. And then again, remember the greatest wealth movers we covered were tips 9 through 13. All right, guys, it was a lot of information to cover. Hopefully you hung with me. And, this is just one of the things that I help people kind of pick apart when we're looking at their financial plan. If you, again, this is tons of information. And if you want help with something like this, if you want help putting together your financial roadmap, this is part of our financial roadmap planning session. We dive deep into this stuff. If you want help, stick around. I've got a solution for you. It's called the Investor Accelerator Mastermind program. And in this mastermind, it's for anybody, whether you're just starting out in real estate, doing it on the side, don't have a property yet, or you got several properties under your belt and you're doing this more full time. I find working with people that they actually are missing several key pieces that can accelerate their wealth build. Okay, we talk a lot, and we've talked a lot in previous episodes about the real estate side of things, but how do we get prepped to buy the real estate? How can we actually put ourselves in the best financial position to buy real estate and take advantage of it for the long term? So in this mastermind, we tackle tons of education specific to real estate. I also give everybody in the mastermind my Financial Edge program, which covers everything that we just tackled right there, but in depth. Okay, that is a part of the program. All right. Then we'll sit down, we create a plan, one-on-one business planning strategy. And guys, most people stop right here. They get the education, they listen to the blogs. That is great. That is fine. That is DIY. You can do it. But you can't stop here. You got to put a plan in place, and we help you do that. You also, remember, you have to put the systems in place, okay? And we help you do that too. We give you all the checklist tools, systems done for you, scripts, templates, even sharing down to the full list of ancillary providers and deal finders so you don't have to reinvent that wheel. Then it's about how do you scale, okay? In scaling, we talked about, to scale a real estate portfolio is about how can you you leverage other people's money and increase your deal flow. But we tackle this from a business perspective on monthly calls. One monthly call is focused solely on strategy. Another monthly call is focused on expanding your network and knowledge, going over things like this, okay? And then we have a couple other support pieces that are on an ongoing basis, like a weekly Ask Me Anything session, and then also ongoing community support for questions and answers. And if this is something that you're interested in, and I just want you to close your eyes for a second, just imagine how far could you scale in your investing if you had this type of education plan and support system at your fingertips. Okay, I invested in it for myself, and I can tell you definitely it works. You can light it on fire. If you're interested, no hard sells here right now. Go over to ashwealth.com/apply. I want to make sure it is the right fit for you. Okay, so jump on over there. We will hop on the phone and make sure that this is the right fit for you. Again, you guys have taken your most precious non-renewable resource and invested it here with me and in yourself. I hope I've blown the doors off of all of the different various tips and ways that you can save money. Some of these strategies alone can put hundreds of dollars back in your pocket a month. I am not joking. Or even thousands and millions of dollars back in your pocket over several years. Okay, so this is, I can tell you from experience, if you did all 13 tips that I laid out here for you today, you will succeed. Okay, you will be much farther ahead. So again, thank you for joining. I look forward to talking to you guys real